talk right now with Dr. Shurin, who is the director of the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, and that's really the whole purpose about tonight, right?
You bet. And you look. What might I just say? Fabulous.
Well,
You're really a little sparkly, like the whole thing.
Red.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look, here I am talking. I'm holding the microphone.
We really appreciate the opportunity to really get the word out about heart health in women. It's so exciting, and it's such a fun way to do it. Everybody has such a wonderful time.
It's a great time, right, Kelly? I mean, this is something where, okay, we've got like our platform, and now you put it all under like this big fashion show.
Right.
Who's not having a great time? Like, look, you can see all the. Can we get over here? We got the cameras.
We've got a lot of action.
We got all kinds of celebrities. Man, everybody looks great in a red outfit.
You like the red, Lonnie, don't you?
The red looks dynamite.
But you know, the most impressive thing about this campaign, the Red Dress campaign launched in 2002.
Aren't you in the lights?
And this is the 8th annual fashion show. But when they first surveyed in 2000, only about a third of women knew that heart disease was the leading cause of death.
I couldn't believe when I was I got to tell you, I learned about that too. Getting ready for the show
now,
tonight.
though, 8 years later with the campaign, they just did a survey last year. Now 69% of women know. So this campaign's been really effective.
It's been very, very effective, and we actually have to thank the fashion industry and all of our partners in this for making that happen, because really it's getting the word out and getting people to get the word that there are things you can do to lower your risk of heart disease. That's the most important.
Do we have time, Cal? Can we get into just like a rapid fire?
List.
Tell me some of those things that we do. I know we've talked about it a bunch. Let's just do it again for the people who are hearing it for the first time.
The key things that you can do to lower your risk of heart disease: not smoke, maintain a healthy weight, to eat a heart-healthy diet, and that means one that's low in cholesterol and saturated fats, one that's low in salt, and one that is high in fruits and vegetables. Okay. Maintain a lot of physical activity.
Like Cali, she's always doing it.
Absolutely.
Running spastically, not really exercising.
A little bit. She's got exercise going all the time.
And you need to see your doctor, because you need to know that your blood pressure and your cholesterol are okay. And those are things that you can't tell for yourself. So you need to understand what your risks are and do the things that you can do in terms of lifestyle adjustments. You may or may not need medications, but to lower those risks. You can actually lower your risk of developing heart disease by as much as 82% just with lifestyle changes.
You know, when you talk about lifestyle changes, and she was saying one of the big factors, smoking. You got to get that out of your life.
Absolutely.
Do we find smoking? I got to tell you, when I was dating, I wouldn't even consider dating somebody who smoked. This way, they're saying, you go this way. I'll go around that way.
People are trying to walk in front of our shot, Lonnie.
This is we got a big show.
We've got a live working backstage.
But what do you find? Like, okay, the whole scene with smoking, it's just not my thing, and I wouldn't have dated anybody who smoked. That would have been a deal breaker. I just feel like in my life, smoking isn't playing a big role. Is it on a decline in the country? I hope it is. It
declined tremendously over the 90s and much of the first decade of this century. But it's leveled off. And I think one of the key things is that if you don't start smoking by the time you're about 20, you're very unlikely to smoke. So we really want to target that message about not smoking to young people. It's hard to smoke once you've started. It's much easier not to start.
One other thing I want to talk about is signs and symptoms of a heart attack, because a recent study in Ireland found that women don't communicate the signs as much. They don't take them as serious as men. Maybe we're a little tougher with our pain threshold, Lonnie.
That's probably true. I will tell you, I remember when back in another life when I was an actor, I had a role and I had to experience a heart attack. So I did the research. I remember there was something about a shoulder, feeling shoulder.
Yeah, tell us, review the symptoms again. What are the symptoms?
For men, it tends to be a crushing pain in your chest, radiating down your arm. You sweat.
Sweating, that's where I was going to go next,
right. But the signs and symptoms in women are actually quite different. Really profound fatigue tends to be the most common. People are just so tired they absolutely cannot move.
But most women are always tired because we're always doing too much.
You guys always got a lot going on.
This is a whole other order of magnitude in terms of being tired, and often heartburn, difficulty breathing. But it's not the classical symptoms that you're referring to, which is much more common in men. And so it's one of the reasons not just that women ignore them, but they don't recognize them as signs of heart attacks, and sometimes physicians don't either. And that's actually one of the key pieces for the kind of research that you're discussing, is that we need to get the message out to physicians so that when a woman comes in, and a woman in her 30s who comes in and she says she's tired, you're right, they sort of is like, yeah, right, okay.
Well, I find it so amazing that sometimes the doctors will look into the situation and say, hey, you've actually had a heart attack.
Right.
How can you have a heart attack and not know that you had a heart attack?
Well, it's actually
It's
it's
subtle
quite
heart attacks,
variable.
though,
There
right?
are subtle heart attacks, and it's not uncommon that when you find somebody has significant heart disease, you find there are signs that they've had several earlier heart attacks. And it's actually, again, one of the reasons it's so important to lower your risks, to try to keep that kind of thing from happening.
You know, we have a question from the chat room, so I want to take a
Oh,
question.
yes.
We have a live chat room right now. Thank you to all of our friends
Wow.
joining us, whether you're
Interactive.
joining us from CBSNews.com or Ustream or one of our local affiliates. What's the question from the chat room, Mike?
Yeah, there's a question from Cool Jets, our friend Cool Jets, who
Hey,
says,
Cool Jets.
what's the average age for women to get heart disease?
Women tend to get heart disease later than men, so that women are more frequently getting heart disease in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. More often, it's about a decade later than men. And so this actually becomes a particular problem because when a younger woman develops heart disease, it's even less likely that it'll be recognized, both by the woman herself and by her caregivers.
I'm going to tell you, Doc, with this big snowstorm we just had here in the New York City area, it was a really wet, heavy snow. We were calling it over at the news station heart attack snow because each shovelful is about 50 pounds.
That's right.
Wow.
And that's where you put that added stress. And it's tough this time of year. And you get a big storm like that and people are all out shoveling. That's why you hear about these stories that people collapse shoveling the snow.
That's right. No, that's exactly right. And I think, I'm in Washington and we've had nonstop snow.
You've set a record for your all-time snowfall in 1 year.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
And one of the things that's been good is that people have been very good about getting that message out. If you're not in shape, don't do this or take it really easy.
Because you view it as a necessity. Hey, I got to shovel the driveway. I got to shovel the walk.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Shurin. We really
It's a
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank you.
This
As
was
you
so
can
fun.
see, audience,
This was
we
great.
have our
Thank you.
celeb models right behind us. Thank you. Enjoy the show.